The ration pack felt lighter in Marcus Chun's hands than it should have. 3 days without food would do that to a person, make even the smallest weight feel significant. He sat cross-legged in the rubble of what had once been New Geneva Station, watching the alien woman across from him struggle with her breathing. She was dying. Anyone could see that. Her azure skin had faded to a sickly pale blue, and the elegant ridges along her skull that marked her as Zephyrian nobility were cracked and bleeding. The universal translator at her throat wheezed with each labored breath, occasionally sparking with damaged circuits. "Water," she whispered in heavily accented Standard. "Please." Marcus looked at his canteen, half empty. Maybe enough for another day if he was careful. The rescue ships weren't coming, everyone knew that by now. The hegemony had written off this sector after the Void Runner's attack. He and whoever else survived the orbital bombardment were on their own. He uncapped the canteen and held it to her lips. The woman's large, golden eyes widened in surprise as she drank. When she'd taken enough, she pulled back, studying his face with an intensity that made him uncomfortable. "Why?" she asked. "Your people mine we are enemies." Marcus shrugged, settling back against a twisted piece of bulkhead. "War's a political thing. You're just thirsty." A sound echoed through the ruined corridor's heavy footsteps, multiple sets. The woman's eyes went wide with recognition and something that might have been fear. "My escort," she breathed. "They search for me." "You should run, human. When they find me with you—" "Can't run far with a busted leg," Marcus replied, gesturing to the makeshift splint around his left knee. "Besides, you're in no shape to be alone." The footsteps grew closer. Marcus could hear voices, now harsh, guttural sounds in the Zephyrian language. The woman tried to sit up straighter, to compose herself into something resembling the dignity expected of her station. "I am Sub-Commander Lirelei of House Vorthik," she said formally. "I will tell them you are my prisoner. Perhaps—" "Nah." Marcus opened his ration pack, the last one he found in the wreckage. Protein bars, dried fruit, water purification tablets. Enough to keep him going for maybe 2 more days. "Here." He handed her the protein bar. Lirelei stared at it as if he'd offered her a live grenade. "I cannot. This is your food." "Your survival. You're hungrier than I am." It wasn't entirely true, but she was injured worse. "Eat." The Zephyrian soldiers rounded the corner just as she bit into the protein bar. 6 of them, in full combat armor that had seen better days. Their weapons were raised and trained on Marcus before he could blink. The squad leader barked something in their language. His tone was sharp, accusatory. Marcus didn't need translation to understand the gist. Lirelei responded in rapid Zephyrian, gesturing weakly with one hand. The soldiers' postures shifted, subtly, still ready for violence, but confused now. Their leader approached slowly, his rifle never wavering from Marcus's chest. "You?" he said in broken Standard. "Human, why are you here with Commander?" "Found her hurt," Marcus replied evenly. "Helped." The soldier's mandibles clicked, laughter, maybe, or disbelief. "Helped? We are. War, you kill us, we kill you. This is way, not my way." Another rapid exchange in Zephyrian. Marcus caught a few words: water, food, honor debt. The squad leader's expression was unreadable behind his helmet's faceplate, but his weapon lowered slightly. Lirelei struggled to her feet, swaying dangerously. The soldiers moved to support her, but she waved them off, fixing her golden gaze on Marcus. "This human," she announced in Standard, her voice carrying despite its weakness, showed mercy to a dying enemy. He gave water when he had little, food when he had less. She paused, breathing heavily. "By the old laws, by the codes of House Vorthik, I name him Thekval Life Giver." The effect on the soldiers was immediate and dramatic. As one, they dropped to one knee, their weapons clattering to the ground. Even their squad leader bowed his head. Marcus blinked. What's happening?" "In our culture," Lirelei explained, leaning heavily against the wall, "there are debts that transcend politics. You saved my life when you had no reason to do so. When doing so endangered your own survival. She looked at her soldiers, who remained kneeling. The deck vow is sacred. It means you are under the protection of House Vorthik, now and always. The squad leader rose and approached Marcus, moving slowly and deliberately. He reached into a pouch on his belt and withdrew something small and crystalline, a data chip. Evacuation coordinates, he said in his halting standard. Neutral ship. Will take humans to safety. He pressed the chip into Marcus's palm. Honor debt. Marcus stared at the chip. I don't understand. Your people tried to kill mine yesterday. Yesterday, you were enemy, the soldier replied. Today, you are Zekvo. Tomorrow, ... He shrugged, the gesture somehow conveying infinite possibility. Perhaps we learn from your example. Lirale was smiling now, despite her obvious pain. You asked why I would take food from a stranger, she said. Now, I ask you, why did you give it? Marcus thought about it, really thought about it. The war, the politics, the reasons why humans and Zephyrians were supposed to hate each other, none of it had mattered in that moment. There had only been a person in need and the simple ability to help. Because, he said finally, it was the right thing to do. The sub-commander nodded slowly. Perhaps, she said, that is why your species will survive, when so many others have. Not. As the Zephyrian soldiers carefully lifted their commander to carry her to safety, Marcus looked at the evacuation coordinates glowing on his palm display. In the distance, he could hear the hum of approaching ship's dots sometimes. He reflected, the smallest axe carried the greatest weight. A sip of water, a piece of food, a moment of compassion between enemies. Sometimes that was enough to change everything